is going on, everybody? It is your boy Arrows, and we are having a crazy hair day, but we are also talking about Mega Evolution. We have already posted a deck profile on Gardevoir, talking about Gardevoir and what I think that deck could look like going forward. But we are now talking about Mega Manectric EX. This is probably one of my second favorite EX, Mega EX of this set. We're not really counting Mega Gengar because it's coming out in that Mega Battle deck. I don't actually in that. I don't think it is. But I really, really like this card. I think it is. I think it is going to see a ton of play. I think it is really good. I think there are ways that you can build around to counter its fighting weakness that we're actually going to show off in the deck that we have. So let's talk about the card itself. Mega Manectric is a stage 1 lightning Pokemon with 330 HP. That is insane on a stage 1. Goldengo, we'll use Goldengo as the example. Goldengo caps out, I believe, at 260. So this is an insane amount of HP for a stage 1, obviously because it is a Mega Evolution. Now, much like Gardevoir on the previous video, this does not evolve from a Manectric EX. It does in fact evolve from an Electrite, which means it's going to be a much faster to play out, and its attacks are phenomenal. So for 2 lightning energy, its first attack, Flash Ray, does 120. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. This means they're not going to be able to return fire with Raging Bolt if they're playing Raging Bolt. You're going to be pretty protected from that. I can't really think of a lot of decks that run solid Terrabox, Terrapagos, and you're going to be really well protected from that. Any other decks that run basic attackers or Ho-Oh Armarouge is going to be a deck that's going to have trouble with this because they're not going to be able to deal damage to you on their next turn, and then you can hit them with massive damage with Manectric's second attack, Riot Blaster. For 3 lightning energies, you do 200. Then you can discard all energy attached to this Pokemon, and if you do, this deck does 130 more damage. 330 damage for 3 energies on is amazing. The discard is a little touchy, but obviously we are electric, so we have all the great electric cards that help us get that set up again. Weakness fighting, that's going to be very dependent on how big Mega Lucario gets. I think the only other fighting deck that you could see is Cynthia's Garchomp, which is just going to run right through this. But that is what it is. No resistance and a 0 retreat cost is insane for this kind of power. You can retreat this for free. Really good card. Let's look at the deck. Now, we're posting a rough deck with this stuff. I'm not really touching much on like the supporters and trainers and stuff from the new set, but we will talk about them as we get into. So this is what I am looking at for the deck. Electric is really well positioned because it has a ton of great support still in the meta. We've gotten Dynamotor back on Electric, so yes, we are going to be able to recycle those energies we discard. We're playing a high number of energies because obviously we want our electric generators to go off early, enabling us to maybe secure some wild early KOs with Miraidon or Zekrom. We have Mew in here. Mew is going to be a really strong counter to Lucario, being able to copy its attacks and use it on it for more damage. Again, I'll point out Dynamotor does not state you have to put the energy on an electric Pokemon. It just says you need to have the energy. You just need to put the energy on a Pokemon. So we're running 1 Miraidon. I don't really think we need more than 1. This pretty much sets up our board spectacularly. Its ability Tandem Unit lets you search your deck for 2 electric Pokemon and put them onto the field, which is always good. And then its attack, Photon Blaster, does 220 damage for 2 lightnings and colorless, with the effect that you can't use it during your next turn, which is fine. We're running 4 copies of our Electrike. It has Thunder Jolt for 30, does 10 damage to itself. Retreat 1, fighting, weakness 70 HP, not terrible. We're running our 3 copies of Mega Manectric EX. Mega Manectric EX, we've just talked about it. This is such a strong card, And the fact that you could very easily get it out on your like early turn is kind of amazing. We're running 2 copies of Dynamo and 2 copies of Electric. Electric has the amazing ability Dynamotor. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic lightning energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. This is really good for being able to set up extra KOs with extra Manectrics. You can literally just sit here and just swap them and do tons of damage. And yeah, just really good. Having that free retreat is kind of crazy. We're running 1 copy of Zekrom EX because it is a great late game attacker that will only cost us 2 prizes if it gets destroyed. For 2 energies, slash does 50. That is what it is. And for 2 lightning energies and a colorless, Voltage Burst does 130 damage. It does 50 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. That is going to be massive damage after 1 Mega Manectric gets knocked out. You can come in and probably clean up really well with Zekrom EX. Iron Hands is great for early for pressure with Amp You very much. For 1 lightning and 3 colorless, it does 120. And if your opponent Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, you would take 1 more prize. This could be really neat if you set up something and you hit a Gardevoir really hard or another Mega and it lives through Manectric's attack. You can bring this up afterwards, knock it out, and get like 4 prizes, which is insane. And it also has Arm Press for 2 lightning and 1 colorless for 160. We are, of course, running tech cards. We have Latias EX with its ability Skyliner. Your basic Pokemon in play have no retreat cost. This is going to be really handy if this bulky Iron Hands EX with its 4 retreat cost gets brought to the active position, so our opponent can like kind of like rebuild their stuff. We're going to be able to drop this and retreat for free. We're running 1 copy of Mew EX because honestly, drawing cards at any point in time is fantastic. And Genome Hacking for 3 colorless energy. We're going to choose one of our opponent's active Pokemon attacks and use it as our attack. The main things we are going to have in trouble here is Mega Lucario is going to give us an issue, and Garchomp. So being able to smack in, well, Garchomp doesn't have a weakness, but being able to hit Mega Lucario for 260 off of its Aura Jab, or 270 times 2 off of Mega Brave is going to be really good. It's going to help us keep up with that fighting matchup, which would otherwise be very bad for us, because Mega Lucario with Aura Jab is going to hurt us really, really big. Garchomp is not really going to be something for that we can deal with, because I believe Garchomp does not have a weakness. Sorry, Garchomp has a grass weakness, so we're not going to be able to do anything with that. Going in, and then we have Blood Moon Ursaluna, just as another strong late game attacker if we're behind on prizes. It can come up, smack for 240 right away, which is really good. With his ability, Season Skill, Blood Moon used by this Pokemon's colorless cost. It costs 1 less colorless for each prize card your opponent has taken. So again, as the game progresses, this is a solid big attacker. Going into our supporters, we're of course running 4 copies of Professor's Research, 4 copies of Arven, 3 copies of Boss's Orders, and 2 copies of Carmine. Carmine is a supporter that we can use on our first turn. We can discard our hand and draw 5 new cards. Really good card. We're running 4 copies of Electric Generator, 2 copies of Buddy Buddy Poffin, 3 Nest Balls, 3 Ultra Balls, 1 Prime Catcher, and 1 Air Balloon. Electric Generator, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck and take up to 2 basic electric energies you find there to your bench electric Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle your other cards into your deck. That's why we're running the high energy count of 15, because we want to be able to see energy off of this card to really accelerate us before we get Dynamotor going. Buddy Buddy Poffin, we talked about in Gardevoir, but you get to search your deck for 270 HP or less basic Pokemon, put them onto the field. Obviously, we want our Electrites and our Dynamos. This, in conjunction with Miraidon, can set up our bench really, really quickly. 3 Nest Balls lets us search for a basic Pokemon and put it onto our bench. 3 Ultra Balls, we discard 2 cards from our hand to search our deck for any Pokemon. And then 1 Prime Catcher. This is a fantastic card. It's an A-Spec, so we can only run 1 of it in our deck. We switch one of our opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot, and if we do, we switch one of our bench Pokemon to the active spot. So this enables us really to get into extra kills with stuff that we want to take out, giving us another way to do it if we've already spent our supporter for the turn. Air Balloon gives our Pokemon 2 less retreat. We want this off specifically for our Electrics. Another really fun thing to do is bring up Electric and just leave it there while you do stuff. This way we can attach this to the Electric and we can get that card. We can get those cards back. There is another tool card we could use in this as well. It's not in this build, but it is something you could use for more speedy evolution. I was actually, when we built the deck, I was really contemplating putting it in, but we do have more than enough ways to get into our Dynamos and our Mega Manectric. But you could also run copies of TM Technical Machine Evolution. This would let you evolve your Electrics and your Tynamos into Electric and Mega Manectric. So that's another card that you can really look at. Actually, this is a card that would work really well with these Mega Evolutions. I'm in like a weird mindset with Mega Evolutions because I played during the original Mega Evolution era where you lost a turn if you evolved them. So you needed the item to attach to avoid that. And so I'm just like kind of still locked in that era where like Mega Evolutions were kind of not good. There were some that were really good, but most of them were kind of bad. Were kind of not overly played. But now with the ability to evolve them from the basic, you can go through from the Electrite and the Curlia or the Riolu, because Gardevoir would be a bad example. You can use this to search them out and evolve really early. You could easily pop this in for, you could take out one of the Ultra Balls and one of the boss's orders if you wanted to, and add in 2 of these as well. That would be another good card to put in. Like I said, when I was building this, I struggled with putting this card in. Other options you can do if you wanted to run a counter trainer and you didn't have your air balloons out, you could run Jamming Tower. It negates the effects of tools after you've used your evolution if you're running it in your deck as well. If you wanted to run Terrapagos EX or another Terra EX that's lightning, you could put in Area 0 Underdepths to increase your bench size. Pheasantipity is always an option. We didn't run it in here because I'm hoping that we're going to be fast enough that those extra 3 cards won't matter. And I like having Mew in here and the Blood Moon Ursaluna because they are amazing revenge killers. The Mew, if we're in matches where fighting Pokemon that are weak to Psychic, are prevalent, and Blood Moon Ursaluna just hurt. But let me know what you guys think of the deck. Again, like I said in the Gardevoir video, I am just really getting my feet back into deck building Pokemon. This deck might not be the greatest. I fully understand that better content creators out there will probably post better versions of this deck, but I'm enjoying getting my feet wet in deck building again. I haven't built Pokemon decks in a very, very long time. Like I've Marnie's Grimstar now in real life, and it was fun building a Pokemon deck once again. But don't forget to like the channel, ding the notification bell. If you want to see any of the content we post on here, including our upcoming TCG Nuzlocke to the top, where we will be taking 8 different decks on the Pokemon TCG ladder, going from the lowest rank that we can get to, that we can start with, all the way up into Master Ball rank. Master rank, I think it's just called Arceus. We're going to, before every match, we're going to spin the wheel. Whatever deck it lands on, that's deck we're going to use for that match. When we lose twice with the deck, it is no longer on the wheel. Are we going to reach Master rank, or are we going to lose all of our decks in the TCG Nuzlocke? That starts in 2 weeks when the TCG Live ladder resets. It's going to be streaming it on Twitch, and we are going to also be posting the VODs onto YouTube. So if you can't make to the Twitch stream, check that out as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for all the support on this channel. I love it. It's been growing drastically, and I am so very blessed to be able to receive this support from you guys, and I never want that to go unsaid. Go out there, play some Pokemon, have some fun, enjoy life, because really, it's not stopping for anybody. And as always, friends, I will see you I see you. Bye.